Have you ever been to a place so quiet you can hear the sound of your own heartbeat? A place devoid of signs of human civilization. A place of loneliness, hope, and peace. This place is located in the southeastern corner of California and just 2 hours from Las Vegas. This is the Mojave Desert.
I finally made it to the Mojave National Preserve. I got delayed for a couple of hours. It was quite the adventure trying to get here. So I flew into LAX and I actually went to the wrong vehicle rental location. I accidentally boarded the wrong shuttle. Well, like always, I always get lost. It's so dark and quiet here. There's absolutely no lights around me except for the limited amount of stars I can see right now and my headlights. And there's no other cars around me. I'm driving by myself down a dark desert highway in the middle of the morning, pretty much. It's past 2 in the morning right now. So I'm feeling a little anxious, a little excited, and also a little bit scared because I've never been on a solo adventure like this before overnight. Trying to find a campground in the middle of the night in pitch darkness is kind of hard. So that's why I'm driving slow now, and hopefully I should be able to find something soon because the sun's coming out in a couple of hours. I only have a couple of hours to go to sleep. So we'll see how I feel tomorrow morning, right? It's actually quite calming driving here in the middle of the night with no one around me. Usually I'm driving around in the city. I live in a pretty big city, so it's always the hustle and bustle, traffic everywhere. But here is like a dark, empty desert highway. To a lot of people it might sound terrifying, but it's actually quite relaxing, and I could really think and be at one with my thoughts right now. It's quite an experience that I usually don't get on a normal daily basis, so I'm actually enjoying this right now, and I just got into the park. Tomorrow's gonna be quite the adventure. I'm excited for tomorrow. Well, this is the fire pit, so I think I'm gonna camp here. I only have a couple of hours of sleep before the sun comes up. I'm getting ready for bed now. Whoa. wrong button. So I'm getting ready for bed now, and it's gonna be pretty cold tonight. It's gonna drop to low 40s. The one thing about the desert is there's temperature variations in the extremes, so in the daytime it could be pretty warm, but at night it gets fairly chilly. So I have a sleeping bag here with me, and I'm gonna bundle up and do some car camping. Tan, I know you can't do this because you're taller than me and you can't sleep in the car.
I feel like a snug cocoon, but I gotta say it's pretty awesome to be able to sleep under millions and millions of stars at night. It's very calm and peaceful. Good night.
After a short sleep, I awoke to the light of dawn. The land quickly transforms as the sun chased away the night shadows.
it turns out that last night I camped right under the Mojave Cross, which is a memorial dedicated to the fallen soldiers in the world wars. Last night was pretty unusual for me. Not because I'm still functioning with minimal sleep, although that is pretty unusual for me. It's probably because I'm full of adrenaline right now. But last night I didn't hear a single sound. Like no birds, no animals outside my car, no cars passing me. I'm literally right next to the main road. You look here. Barely 7:30 and the day is already warm. Last night it was freezing. So part of the reason why I came here so late last night was I spent a good deal of time at Walmart searching for fuel, for gas, so I could heat up my water and have coffee and eggs in the morning. And apparently Walmart ran out of the brand of gas that I normally use for my jet boil. And I resorted to buying this. It's the last canister, surprisingly, of biofuel. Let's see if this thing actually works with my jet boil. If not, I won't have coffee and I'll be very grumpy. Oh, this stuff is interesting. Hopefully this thing is compatible. It should be. I don't see why not. Oh yeah, it stands pretty well. I think it'll work. It'll definitely work. Okay, smoking. Does that mean it's on? Definitely feels warm. I never used this stuff before. This stuff is definitely interesting. Yeah, it's burning underneath. I feel the heat. Let me just look at the directions so I know everything is working properly. Warning, read directions before using. Oops. I think what I forgot to do was take off this outer ring. Yep, forgot to take this thing off. That was the only thing I didn't notice. Eggs are some of my favorite foods. In you go. It's definitely taking longer than the butane canisters to heat up the jet boil. But it's going. As soon as the orange level reaches the top, that means the system is at boil. I brought along some freeze-dried granola. This will go nicely with my eggs. I haven't tried this before. I'm looking forward to it. But I'm going to read the directions so I don't F it up like I did with the gas canister. Okay, I'm glad I read this. So this actually needs cold water instead of hot water. I was gonna pour the hot water into this. I'll save some time and just use cold water. Perfect. Don't need that. I'm just gonna eyeball it. Oh yeah, eggs and granola for breakfast. Delicious. I'm gonna use the leftover hot water for my coffee. Delicious, delicious Folgers in a pouch. The best part of waking up is Folgers in a pouch. I need extra energy today. Let's try another pouch. Since I'm fancy, I'm gonna add some hazelnut creamer into my coffee.
Yeah. Give this a little stir. Oh, that hazelnut smells so good. I'm so happy right now. Got my morning coffee, got my 3 eggs, and my packet of granola. I'm gonna enjoy my breakfast and pick up the trash before it flies away. It's quite tasty. Delicious breakfast. This will help fuel the hikes that I'm going to do today. Our first stop is actually right across the street. Just the right amount of kick. That's a pretty egg. After a quick breakfast, I got ready for the day's hikes to come. The coffee and warm morning sun lifted my spirit and rejuvenated my body. Always use sunscreen. I decided to start the day off with a quick hike to the top of the nearby mountain in order to survey the desert in morning light. Teutonia Peak is a short, one-way out and back trail that offers outstanding views of the surrounding desert landscape and the distorted-looking Cima dome. The trail is mostly flat, with rapid elevation gains towards the end. Where can you find the densest collection of Joshua trees on the planet? Surprisingly, it's not at Joshua Tree National Park, but here at the Mojave National Preserve. Just look at all those Joshua trees around me. Izote de Desierto, or desert dagger, these trees are adapted to the arid southwestern US desert and can survive for hundreds of years. When a group of Mormon settlers passed through the Mojave Desert, they saw these trees and named them Joshua trees, after they were reminded of the biblical Joshua raising his hands up in prayer. Ranging from a variety of sizes, from small saplings to giant behemoths providing shade from the midday sun, to the unusual. These trees extend across the landscape as far as the eyes can see. Besides Joshua trees, the trail is home to a variety of plants and flowers. The Mojave is not just about sun and sand, but an abundance of life that made this place their home. This has to be the loneliest trail I've ever been on. I haven't seen anybody on the trail all day. I'm pretty sure I'm by myself at this point, just walking along this sandy trail in the middle of the Mojave Desert. No biggie. Always be wary of where you're going. I accidentally took the wrong path. I was supposed to have gone straight that way, but what I did was I accidentally veered towards the left and went on this path. Yeah, no good. I walked about a minute or so before I realized I was going the wrong way, so I just backtracked. What I did was I just looked on the ground and saw that there weren't any footprints going that way, whereas the main path has a ton of footprints. So when you're hiking by yourself, be wary of where you're going and your surroundings. There's the peak. I'm gonna have to go around it. I don't hear much going on except for my boots and the occasional rustling of the wind. If you were to stop for a moment just to listen, you could hear the sound of your heartbeat because of how quiet it is. I live in a big city, so there's always noise, but here is almost complete silence. Last night when I was sleeping, I noticed just how perfectly quiet everything was. I couldn't hear anything. There was literally no sound outside. Whereas back where I'm from in the city,
You will hear ambulances, people shouting, just cars outside your window. There's always stuff going on, but here it's just so peaceful and quiet. I love it here. This is not the biggest of elevation gains, but it's brutal that all the elevation gain is towards the end of the hike. I'm almost to the top though. Can't wait to see the view. Oh, check out that terrain. Isn't it awesome looking?
This basalt mountain is called Cima Dome, which formed millions of years ago in a subduction zone and pushed the land 1,500 feet above the desert floor.
We're nearing the top of Teutonia Peak. Almost looks like a fisheye lens, or the curvature of the Earth, but that's not true. The Earth is flat. That was a brutal last portion of the hike. I finally made it to the top, and I gotta say, the view up here is damn worth that hike. It's amazing up here.
Clear blue skies, a warm late morning sun, and an expanse of land with no civilization in sight. It doesn't get any better than this.
This is the first time on a hiking trail where I saw absolutely no one else. It's truly solitude and desolation here. But it's a peaceful kind of solitude. Because it's so quiet, you have nothing but your thoughts as you're walking along. By the way, Walter from Washington, I hope you and your daughter are doing okay. Well, that was an awesome hike, but I have to be heading back to the car now. We have other locations we need to visit, and time is short.
Fortunately, the path back is downhill and speedy. By this time, the sun is high in the sky. It's a good time to find some shade.
And I'm back. That was a lot longer than I thought it would be, but it was a nice, pretty pleasant hike. So for this next location I'm going to, I'm thinking of going somewhere a little cool. Maybe try to escape the sun because it's around midday right now and it's getting a little warm. So on to the next location, on and on. I love driving on these desert freeways. I don't think there's a speed limit. I haven't seen any posted, so to your own discretion, I guess. And it's so flat, the road is so flat to the ground that any dip is like a roller coaster ride. Like you feel the jolt. It's pretty fun driving on these roads. And everywhere you look, there's a ton of joshua trees and just a vast expanse of open land. Surprisingly, there's a lot of green in the desert. That's what I noticed. I expected more yellow, more brown, but I've been seeing a lot of green from all the trees, from the joshua trees. A lot of vegetations here. Okay, I'm loving these dips. It's like, here's one. Whee! I'm so glad I got an SUV, because if I got a smaller vehicle, I'd actually be a little afraid to be on the gas pedal as I'm going past the dip. But I have a high clearance vehicle, so I'm not too worried about hitting the ground. Although even with a standard vehicle, I don't think you'll hit the ground. I think they designed it in a way that you won't hit the ground, but is a little intimidating because these dips are pretty deep. Oh, here comes the big one. Whee! Whoa. This is the type of road that will kill your tires. Fortunately, this is a rental vehicle, but I'm still trying to be careful. The road is completely weather worn. Super bumpy. So I finally made it here to the trailhead at Lava Tube, and I gotta say that was the worst road I've ever driven on. It was only 4.5 miles to get here, but it probably took me about half an hour because of how weather worn the road was. It's a short walk to get to the actual Lava Tube, so it should be a nice pleasant stroll. I'm pretty much in the middle of nowhere again. The whole theme of the Mojave National Preserve is I'm in the middle of nowhere with flies around me. Check out all these black rocks. It's from the volcano that exploded a while ago, and what was left behind is now a lava tube that I'm gonna go explore in a bit.
The land here is covered with evidence of past volcanic activity from an age gone by. Slow-moving lava flowed and cooled, leaving behind hollow tubes. Within these caves is eternal darkness, lit only by sunlight seeping in from cracks in the ceiling. The best time of day to see this display of light and shadow is around midday, when the sun is out and high in the sky.
It's a ladder going down. It seems sturdy enough. It's safe, I think. There's a ton of animal droppings here. Possibly a bird or a bat. Let's just hope whatever's in here is friendly. It's pretty dark in there. Should have brought my flashlight. Oh, at least I have my cell phone. On the plus side, the air in here is a lot cooler. It's also a lot musty. Oh, I guess I'm crawling. Let's crawl here. Alright, I'm crawling. I'm trying not to get on all fours, but I may have to. If I was a little fatter, yeah. I see light. I see light. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. This is beautiful. What do you call light at the end of a dark tunnel? Hope. I can feel the sun on me. Oh, that is amazing. Look at all the dust particles in the beam of sunlight. Oh my gosh, I'm so glad I made this. Oh, it's so pretty. You can see all the dust particles flying along the shaft of light that's coming through.
Dust particles dance lazily in the afternoon sunlight, rhythmically rising and falling along the light's path. In a place covered in constant darkness, these narrow beams of sunlight provide the only source of illumination to these caves, and serve as lighthouses to wanderers exploring a foreign world. As the saying goes, we don't appreciate what we have until it's gone. The light beams serve as a reminder to me of the world that I left behind above ground.
That was incredible. I'm so glad I made this trip down there. Even though it'll take a while, definitely worth it. Check it out. The day is not over yet. There is still one more location I'm gonna stop by, and it's quite a drive away, but it's gonna be a blast once I get there.
The towering mountains you see in the distance are not made of stone, but by sand that is being constantly sculpted and reshaped by the winds. Rising 650 feet above the surrounding terrain, these Kelso Dunes offer a unique hiking experience. Although not a long hike to the peak, the shifting sands make the trek slow and arduous. Get to the top and you'll see impressive views of the desert landscape. Even though I see a ton of footprints in the sand, there wasn't a single person around. Just an endless sea of sand. Hiking through the Mojave almost makes you wish for a nuclear winter.
It's pretty brutal walking in the sand. The sand is really soft there, so every single step that you take, you just sink into it. I think maybe I wore the wrong boots. I'm gonna try and make it all the way to the top of the sand dunes, but it's gonna take a while based on how much the sand is slowing my progression. The sun is starting to set. I think I have a good 1.5 hours left of daylight before it gets really dark here. I want to be down before that time. I don't want to be wandering about these sand dunes completely lost at night. That'll be pretty bad. Even though there are footprints here that I could follow back, it goes in various directions. If I were to take a wrong path at night, that would be a disaster. Walking uphill with the sands pushing you back, absolutely brutal. But I have to keep pushing forward. On and on. Check out these tracks. There's a lot of human tracks here, but there's some kind of small furry critters running about too. Gotta keep an eye out for them. It's good to know they're around though. I noticed something cool about these grass. So I've noticed they all have these circular patterns around them.
This is caused by the desert winds blowing the blades of grass against the sand and forming these concentric circular patterns. It turns out the critters making small footprints are these desert fringe-toed lizards.
I think I'm almost nearing the top, but I don't want to get my hopes up just yet. Because you know, whenever you go up to the top of one peak, there's always another peak that's higher behind it. Almost, hopefully. I think I see one person already at the top of that peak. Am I hallucinating? I'm pretty tired. Maybe it's an angel. Each step I take is another half step back. The sand's getting ridiculous. If you listen very closely, I'm going to attempt to make the sand dunes sing. Just listen. Shh. You heard that, right? Let me try again once more. Isn't that creepy? There's a science behind that. It usually works on a hot day, like today, when it hasn't rained for a while. Something about one layer of sand being on another layer that's kind of slippery and moist, and when you rub against the top layer, it rubs against the bottom layer and it creates that sound.
This phenomena is called singing or whistling sand.
I'm almost there. I can almost feel it.
I was exhausted, but I knew I had to get to the top of the sand dunes and beat the setting sun. Anxiety and excitement kept me going. I wasn't hallucinating. It really was another person that I saw at the top of these sand dunes. After an entire day by myself, it was good to see another human being. She had been sitting here the whole time, watching my progression. She didn't say a word, but merely gave me a brief smile before turning back to enjoy the last rays of sunlight. I understood. She was here to enjoy her own peace and solitude. I'm glad I was able to make it to the top in time to see the landscape at sunset. It wasn't easy, but the rewards are definitely worth it. I felt fatigued and used the opportunity to catch my breath. I reflected upon the day's events and quiet peace I found in the desert. I didn't want to leave, but I knew the setting sun meant that darkness will quickly envelop the desert. As the sun went below the horizon, I made my descent and said goodbye to my only companion. In our brief time together, we barely spoke, but we experienced something more profound as kindred spirits that could not be expressed verbally. We both found what we were looking for. I looked back one final time and saw her still gazing at me, silently guiding my path home.
Mission accomplished. Going downhill is way easier. It's almost like gliding on the sand. I'm trying to reach my car before it gets completely dark here. I don't want to have to wander about these sand dunes in the dark. That won't be fun at all. Even if I'm following the footprints, there's so many footprints diverging in different directions that you could easily get turned around. So I'm gonna quicken my pace to my car. I'm gonna have fun cleaning sand off everything later.
It's amazing how fast darkness spreads across the land.
The darker it gets, the harder it is to follow these footprints.
Once familiar shapes suddenly looked different and sinister as my mind tried to make sense of it all. The temperature quickly plummeted as stars appeared in the night sky.
I'm pretty sure I'm nearing the end, almost to my car, but just in case, I'm gonna bring out more light because it's getting dark and I don't want to get turned around anywhere. I'll also get a sip of water because I've been rushing it. I'm pretty tired right now. Let there be light. Cool, dual light. Quick sip of water, I'm so thirsty. That was satisfying. But, I feel like tan right now. I could go for a Coke Zero. Or they don't have that anymore. Coke Zero sugar. Okay, stars are coming out to play. I don't want to play anymore. I want to just get back to my car. So this is an example of how you get turned around in the desert, especially if you're already lost. I'm not lost. I don't think I'm lost. I should be okay. But if you are lost, you get even more confused and just like wander about aimlessly.
Like right here, you see a set of footprints going in this direction and the other direction, but suddenly they start to fade and almost they disappear in this particular region because the sand here is turning more into dirt. And then if you already lost, you think, oh, maybe I took the wrong path, and then you wander back, and then you just go in another direction and get even more lost. But if you continue forward, you see the sand become soft again, and the footprints continue on. Even though I felt relief that I reached my car, I also felt sad that the day was over. I didn't want to leave just yet. Oh, so much sand. Though my journey is complete, I decided to linger on a while longer to enjoy the last bits of solitude before returning to civilization. I took in the surrounding desert landscape one last time and gazed up at the stars.